Hi everyone. Today I'll be talking about RE teams and process, and we'll also show you how actually it runs with unattended bot runner. And in the last video I went through RE overview and also implemented a simple use case. You can search that in my channel, and I'll also add a link to that video in the description. So the presentation structure is I'll go through RE control room roles from creator to admin to some other different RE roles. Then I'll talk about RE teams, how do you create a team, add team members to the team, and related things. Then I'll talk about RE process, how you link process to the team, how to create RE scheduler, and some of the related things. Then in the end we'll demo the process that we developed last time. The difference is that now bot would run in unattended mode and we have all teams and processes set up. Okay, now you see here, so the first role is bot creator. We are all familiar with this role, as this is the role which typically you use to create the bot. Same role would design a process, can create a form, can also create a bot. If need be, it can also use RE web package to interact with RE process and tasks like, for example, creating a process through a bot. The second role you see is the control room administrator. This is the person who would assign all RE roles to users like RE admin, RE manager, RE user, and also assign the RE licenses to RE manager and the RE user. Now the three most important roles that you see on the right, first one is the RE user. This is the person who creates the request, submits it, and accesses all the tasks. So he's the user, business user, who is doing everything from task and request perspective. And then you have RE manager. This is the person who can create teams, add team members to the team. There's specific roles within a team like member, owner, admin. He can also assign that to the user. And then we have RE admin. This is the person who would link the checked in process to the team, can also assign tags, can also specify if process would be triggered by user or bot, and can also add a global scheduler user. So now let's talk about RE teams. So in the RE teams, we create a team, we can add team members, add team roles, and it can be shared or private. So when you want to create a team, what you'll do is you'll obviously log into the portal, and you should have an RE admin or RE manager role, and you click on team setup as you see on the screen on the left, and then on the right you click on create new team. As soon as you click on create new team, what you'll see is on the right you see the place where you can put the team name. I have put loan process team sample, and then you can also put the description there, and then there are options for shared and private. We'll talk about what that means. And then when you click on the plus sign after members 0, it will give you a pop-up where you can add members to the team, and you see a drop down. As soon as I search on HA, it's showing me the various users. Only those users will be shown which either have a user license. They need to have a license, otherwise they cannot be added to team members. And then as you move forward, you can assign, as soon as you apply that, it will be added to the team. And if you see roles on the right, so if you see here, I have highlighted the roles. It can be the user's role can be the team members can be a member, owner, or an admin, and different roles have different capabilities. So if you we'll talk about the abilities later. Let's discuss the shared and private team first. So So if you go back and you see this request visibility, shared and private. So if you select shared, what this means is that if a member creates a request, then that request can be seen by the other people in the team, and there can be other teams, they can also see the request, but if it's only shared. But if you click on the radio button, which is private, it means only the member who initiated the request can see it, and also the person who is the owner of the team, obviously along with the admin, can also see the request. Other members and the members of some other teams cannot see any of the request. We'll go through these in detail, or we'll show actually how it works in the demo that we'll do. And if we go in the detail, so if you selected a private type and then you have a member, then the member can create a request, view a request, delete a request. But if you have an owner and that is private, then apart from what you saw in member, he can also view all the requests, even from which are created from other team members. He can delete all the requests, as I said, which are created from other team members, and he also have additional capability to assign all the requests. If you see a role of admin, and with private, you can see apart from what members and owners can do, he can also modify a team. So he can add people to the team. He can also remove people from the team. Now if we go to shared option, you can see if a team type is shared and the team role is member, the member can create a request. A member can view all the requests because it's shared, so he can see the requests which are created by other team member. He can delete, and he has the capability to assign requests to some of the team member. If you go to owner, you see he can do everything a shared member can do, but he can also delete all the requests or any of the requests. If you see member, everything what a shared owner or shared member can do, along with that, he has the capability to modify a team. Now let's talk about AARI process. So how you link the process to team, how you create a AARI scheduler that is used to deploy the bot to unattended runner, what access the user needs. So if we talk about AARI process, so we'll discuss how to create a AARI scheduler role, how to create AARI scheduler user. Then we'll talk about creating a device pool and how you can add scheduler role as a consumer. Then we'll talk about checking the process, how we link the process to the team. Then select whether the process can be started by bot or user. So in order to create a user, or in order to have a user linked to the process, you can go to process setup and you can click or select from the drop down any user which has a scheduler role you can add from here. So how you create that user, which I have already created, but we'll create again when we go in the control room AARI portal. But if you see here, I have created a AARI or AARI scheduler, and you see on top bottom I have a AARI scheduler role that I have created. And if you see the role, what you need to have in a role so that it can be used, or it can be used to trigger bots on unattended bot runner. So if you see on the bottom, this role should have access to view my bots, run my bots, and we also need to make sure that the checkbox of AARI scheduler is also checked for this role. And in terms of the bots, it should have access to the bots that it is planning to view and run. Also add a check-in, check-out. You probably will not need that. A run should be sufficient. But due to the this is A360.21 version, so there is a limitation when you deploy the process to any other other environment, you need to check in and check out. So I kept this functionality for now. And if you go to run as, you need to make sure that you have added the runner machine which will use to run the AARI bots. From user perspective, he just needs to log into the browser and he can create an AARI request, but when it comes to the bot that will be triggered by AARI process, you need a runner. That's what it is defined on the right. And then obviously you need to make sure that you have a device pool. You can probably work without device pool, but that's preferred if you have like multiple devices that you want to dedicate, and on the runtime, depending on which is free, the process can decide where to deploy the bot. But if you see, when you create a device pool, on the devices tab, I have added a machine on which the bot runners will run. And then you have to make sure the consumer is the AARI scheduler role that you have created earlier. Then only it will be able to deploy the AARI bots. And now in the end we'll demo with the unattended runner, but I'll also show you everything on the portal, how you create teams, process, and whatever I talked in this presentation, we'll do that on the control room. So now we are in the AARI portal. So if you need to log into AARI portal, just keep your portal URL, just remove everything and just add AARI to that. And then if I show you how it looks, so if you add AARI to your URL, you'll see login, and then you put your login details. So this portal will look like this. If you go to manage, you'll see team setup and the process setup. We'll start with creating a team. I'll click on team setup, then I'll click on create new team. Then I can provide the name, loan review process team, and I'll put some description. This is the team which will process the loan. And then as I mentioned you earlier, if you keep it shared, then if you have multiple team members, each can see each other's request. But if you keep it private, then one team member cannot see the request of other team member. Obviously the owner admin can, but not each team member. And as I discussed in detail earlier, what shared member mean, what shared admin mean, what shared owner means, all those roles. So I'll keep it shared so that any team member can see the request for other team members. I'll click on plus here, and I can add team members. So I have added few team members already. So I select HA, so AARI user, and this is coming in the drop down because this has a license for AARI user. So if I go to my other login, which is I have an admin which logged in, and you see AARI user, and you saw its role. It has a robotic user interface, but if you see license, it has AARI user license. So whenever you create a user, you need to give an AARI user license, and then only when you try to add here, they will come up. Like if I try to add more, so AARI user 1, user 2, all of them has licenses. That's why they're coming in the drop down. So let me add one more, and let's say AARI user 2, let's say managers. I added these 4 people. So if you see here, there are 3, if you see on the manager, you'll see there are 3 options for the role: the member, owner, and the admin. So typically we'll have one admin, and then mostly will be owner. So you can also have owner and a member combination. And right now I'll make a manager as an admin and keep other as member. So as soon as I'll save it, it will be, this team will be created, you see. So the team is created, and these are the 4 members of the team. 1 is admin, 3 are members. And now we have already created the team, and now we need to go to the process setup. Now for process setup, if you click edit, if you want to add a scheduler, you need to have that. So I'll try to create that scheduler user first so that I can map it here. So let me go to my other user interface, or from Internet Explorer. I have an HA admin which has all the powers to create new users, new role. Let me start by creating a role. So if I go here, so AARI scheduler role, let me just name it loan so that you can differentiate. And then you have to click on view my bot, run my bot, and then you have to make sure, if you go down, that AARI scheduler is selected. If I go up, click on bots, and you need to make sure that it has access for the bots that you are trying to run through AARI. So I'd say I'll just select all, but you can just select run. That should do. And then you have to make sure the runner machine where your bots will run should be added to this one. And then from the user perspective, then the AARI scheduler user that you'll create should be added to it. So when I create user, I'll add, for now I'll just say create a role. Now I have added a role which is called AARI scheduler role for loan. Now let me create a scheduler user. I'll go back here and create a user, and let's say AARI scheduler user for loan. Okay, let me also put this in so that's highlighted. So user loan. Okay, and then I'll make sure the role that I have created, I need to add that to this one. And then you don't need any license for this one, so you just need a role. So what I'll do is I'll put all the details. So let me add the email, hyperautomationlabs@gmail.com, hyperautomationlabs@gmail.com, and then just put some password. Okay. So I created a user, the email, and added the main thing is the role that I added. So I'll create a user. Now I have AARI scheduler user loan. It made it small case, but that's fine. And then I have a role which is AARI scheduler role loan. Okay, now I have the roles that I need. I need to go to create a device pool. So let me go there to create a device pool. Put another pool here. So AARI device pool loan, and then let's say runner, and then I'll add this one. Owner is, so let's see, owner is default, that's fine. Then I'll add a consumer. So consumer will be that role that we added. I'll create a device pool. Now we have the device pool. Now let's go back to the other one. Let's refresh is I'll edit it so that I can add the new user that I added. So save it, and as if you see my last video, I had created a loan approval sample process. You can click on that and then add this as a user to that one, and then I'll add a team which I newly created. I'll say loan review, it's already there, and if you see, there are two options here, by user and bot. Sometimes the business requirement is that you want to start a bot, or you want to start a process automatically through a bot. So you can use AARI web packages for that to start a process through a bot. We can cover that in a separate video, but after you do that, you click on this and then you select your team. So as soon as it is started automatically on a scheduled basis, it will assign to that team. So user need not to be manually start a process. I'll save this one, and we have our team setup. Now we have our process setup. So I think we already have a user, so that's good. Now let's log in as AARI user and try to start a process, or to try to create a request. Let me log out. So now let me go to the AARI portal and log in as AARI user. So let me put the credential for that. So I logged in with this one, and let me create a request and click on loan approval sample. If you have seen my last video, you know the loan approval process, but fundamentally you need to provide the name. So I'll say chain, and she is requesting an amount for $1,000, submitting the request. And since obviously the amount needs to be approved, so the manager will say, oh yeah, loan approved, all good. Now when the person clicks on approve, the last time you've seen, when I clicked on approve, the bot started running on this machine. But now we have connected to unattended bot runner. So as soon as you click on approve, it will deploy the bot for the next step to the other machine, to unattended bot runner, and go from there. So let me click on approve, and then I will take you to the other machine. So this is the other machine, and now bot will try to deploy. And if you see at the bottom, you can see now it's running that on this unattended machine. You see now it's completed here. If you go back, the request is completed. So it went fast, so you've not seen. Let me just do for another scenario. I'll go back to loan approval. Let me say Joe, requesting amount for $10,000, submit in request, and say not approved, amount is high, and then say reject. Now if I go back again here, you'll see the bot getting deployed here in a bit. You see here, now says sending email loan rejected, and right now you see it's in progress. As soon as I close this, so this bot will be completed, and then this process move forward. So from the user's perspective, you'll see that nothing is running on his or her machine. So user is just logging into the portal, and it's doing everything on the unattended bot runner. So I'll just close it, and you see the request is closed. So end-to-end process ran, And from user perspective, he doesn't need to care what bot is running. He just see the request end to end on his side, and this will work. So as I mentioned last video also, AARI is very useful to expand your use cases. Typically with RPA, you have use case where one person is involved and he does the task end to end, but there is no concept of process, mostly task automation. So you need to work as a team, multiple people are involved, they are doing different tasks. That can be accommodated with this one. And if I give an overview how I did all the configuration. So firstly, if I go back, I created a user which was called as AARI, or I would say first I created a role, and that was AARI scheduler role. I made it loan, and then I created a user, scheduler user, and I called it AARI scheduler user loan. Then I went to the portal, or I'll say, let me again log in just to thing. Let me log in with, just to show you again, just to give an overview. So then I went to, obviously I created a team first, loan process team, added all the team members, went to process step, then I added this new user that was required, saved it, and then went to the process, then added a team here, and it will be run by user. So I created a user here, and then I selected the scheduler, and then I ran the process from the AARI portal. So that's how I did end to end. I hope this added value to you. Thanks a lot. Bye bye.